it's getting hot in here. I'm Dr. Carol, and if you're a woman in midlife season, you know what that's about. Hot flashes happen to about 80% of women going through the midlife season. Hot flashes can start up to 10 years before menopause, all during that perimenopausal season. Why? We do know that the swings in hormones, the highs and lows, the highs are higher, the lows are lower, the swings are much more dramatic and less predictable. And we think that it's those rapid shifts in hormones that trigger the start of hot flashes. And again, 80% of women experience that. After the last period, hot flashes can continue in some women 5 years, 10 years, and there are a few women where they continue for decades after. The most troublesome period for hot flashes tends to be from shortly before to just a little bit after menopause. Now, there are some things we know that make hot flashes worse. Hot flashes are worse in women who are smokers, in women who are overweight or obese, and in women who struggle with a lot of stress, anxiety, and depression. It's one of the things where your body and mind are very interconnected. And the more stress and anxiety or depression you're experiencing, the physical fallout is likely to include more frequent and more distressing hot flashes. Things that can help: exercise is one of them. Regular aerobic physical exercise lessens the intensity and frequency of hot flashes, and in some women, that is all the quotes treatment that they need. Certainly, living a healthy lifestyle with unprocessed food, good nutrition, adequate rest, and dealing with your stress in healthy ways make a big difference in your physical symptoms of hot flashes and everything else going on around the menopause transition. Now, managing your stress well is a big topic, and that could be worth a lot of discussion in itself. But things like getting adequate rest, like choosing the place that you put your mind, choosing to focus on what you can do rather than what you don't have control over, getting some help when you need it. Those very positive, proactive ways to manage your stress. What about supplements? There is a plethora of herbal and nutritional products promoted to women around the time of menopause to deal with hot flashes and related symptoms. And the claims, you have to be kind of careful, because many of the claims on these products are just right up to the edge of what they can legally get away with, because there are no qualified studies showing the benefits for these herbal and nutritional supplements with the rigor of science. There's, again, a lot of claims, but you have to be very, very careful with that. Some of them may have a modest benefit, but one of the things we know about hot flashes is that placebos make a lot of difference. Again, the mind and body are very connected here. It doesn't mean that this is all in your head. We can measure. Your body is going through a hot flash. We can measure that. But placebos make a big difference. So some of the prescription medications we know that can have a benefit. There are certain SSRI medications that make a difference. Now, those medications are often prescribed for depression and that kind of thing, but because they do have impact on the connections in the brain, they can impact hot flashes too. The hot flashes are triggered by messages in the brain. It's not all in your head in the sense that it just stays in your head and that you, by thinking of it, can stop a hot flash. No, your body really gets flushed. There is a change in your internal body temperature. Your heart rate can increase, and we can measure those things. But the trigger for that is messages in the brain. And so some of those medications, like SSRIs, will significantly lessen hot flashes. We also know that it's related to estrogen. In women who have a stable, constant level of estrogen because they're taking appropriate medication, hot flashes aren't an issue. And there are some women with distressing hot flashes where estrogen is appropriate. And there is nothing that does as good as estrogen in lessening hot flashes. That doesn't mean all women should take it, but there are appropriate times. And let me just encourage you, if that is the case for you, to talk with your doctor about estrogen medication that is identical to what your ovaries were making. Uh, Bioidentical, that is a term you may have heard, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's compounded. There are standard FDA approved prescription medications that are identical to what the estrogen your ovaries were making. Not all prescriptions are that way, but there are some, and that's an appropriate conversation to have with your doctor. So, hot flashes, it's getting hot in here. Yes. Now, if this is the season of life in which you are in, you will very much enjoy joining us in the Navigating Midlife online course, a digital course for women in this season of life, before menopause, during, and shortly after menopause, all this transition time, looking at the physical changes going on, all the mental and emotional issues that come up for women in this season, and how your relationship with God plays into all of this. Your shifting identity, your shifting purpose, and how do you navigate all of this? You don't need to be a victim to these things going on, but it can be challenging, and coming together as women in this Navigating Midlife course will make a big difference. NavigateMidlife.com. NavigateMidlife.com. Or check the link underneath this video. I would love to see you there.